So let's go over some of the main points of the episode as well as break down next week's promo trailer and make some predictions. Firstly, let's talk about Marlize. Harry has the idea to try and put himself in Marlize's shoes and predict her emotions. He surmises that she's not a bad person and that she longed to save her husband from the monster he had become, and suggests that Marlize can help Team Flash to defeat the Thinker, something we've been saying for many weeks. Iris, of course, was not okay with that suggestion due to the whole stabbing incident.
She stabbed me with a katana, Harry.
Come on, Iris, just let it go. But then she eventually comes around to the idea. She finds Marlize in the UK and reminds her of the good person she has inside of her. But will Marlize helping Team Flash actually help Team Flash? Or did the Thinker predict that she would help them all along? Earlier in the season, he wasn't able to predict emotion. However, I think that her betrayal does actually fall right into Devoe's plan. Related to this, I want to break down some of the important parts of the upcoming trailer for the season finale. We can see in the trailer for next week that Barry has put on the thinking cap and is in the Thinker's chair. Obviously, we know the Thinker's chair and the thinking cap is currently in the possession of Marlize. And so it stands to reason that Devoe actually wanted Marlize to take these devices so that they could land up in the hands of Barry. Barry's going to put his consciousness inside of Devoe's mind in order to try and stop the enlightenment which is happening. So with Barry plugging into the Thinker's mind, I think that this episode is going to be inspired by films such as Inception and The Matrix.
What truth?
There is no spoon.
And The Framework in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 4, which happily was renewed for Season 6. So anyway, we can expect a lot of mind-bending things to happen, with Devoe sending projections in his mind to try and defeat Barry. In the trailer, we see that real-world Devoe has activated the Enlightenment device and all hell has broken loose in Central City. He's also taken down pretty much all the technology with Kilgore's powers. Barry enters the Thinker's mind and tries to stop him. However, as we see here, it appears that Barry will at some point become disconnected and will find himself lost inside the Thinker's mind. We see different versions of the Thinker, even the Thinker back in his chair, but this is not Thinker in the real world. It's rather a representation of Devoe in his mind, in the Thinker Matrix that Barry is going to be trapped in. It's also rumored that Ralph Dibny will be appearing in this episode. Could it be that Ralph's consciousness is somehow trapped inside of the Thinker? And does that mean that when the Thinker absorbed all the metahuman powers, that he also absorbed their consciousness? Now that could be very interesting. Although I don't think that this means we're going to see Ralph return in the physical world, but rather it'll just serve as a way for Barry to say goodbye to Ralph, and for Ralph to help him out, to possibly get free of Devoe's mind. But the most interesting thing for me is the last clip of the trailer, which shows Cecile, who has been captured by the Thinker in the real world. He's put on the device, which Harry designed for her, on her forehead, to prevent her from reading the Thinker's mind. Cecile is of course obviously very much pregnant and about to deliver her and Joe's child. I think he probably captures her early in the episode, and this is one of the motivating factors as to why Barry does something so crazy as to enter Devoe's mind. I think he's trying to save his unborn brother or sister.
Joe, we are not going to need a katana at the hospital.
And does this mean that Devoe wants Joe and Cecile's child? And if so, who is this child? Is it the mystery girl? Personally, I don't think so. And I think it's more likely that this child is someone that the mystery girl, who is most likely going to be Dawn Allen or Jenni Ognats, will be trying to save. The season finale is entitled We Are the Flash, and it says that Team Flash are going to get help from a surprising ally. Of course, one of the surprising allies will be Marlize, but I think there are also going to be some other allies, especially the mystery girl Speedster. I think she's going to help Team Flash while Barry is trapped inside the Thinker's mind. So as I said, Marlize betraying Clifford and working with Team Flash was predicted by Devoe, and I think he wanted her to help Team Flash so that he could get Barry to sit on the chair and to enter his mind. Remember, Devoe told Barry that he couldn't kill him yet because he still needed him, and we are definitely going to see exactly what he needs the Flash for in this episode. I think it's possible that he needs Barry for something related to time travel. Now the basis of this theory is due to the fact that I believe this language is the 30th century language of Interlac. It's also the language that Dawn, or Jenni Ognats, aka the mystery girl coffee girl, is seen writing in. It's also the symbols which Barry wrote down when he came out of the Speed Force and when he said this house is bitchin'.
Hey, this house is bitchin', yeah, everybody says that.
So with Barry trapped in the Speed Force, he was able to see all time in front of him, including the past and the future. And so he had seen this moment when Joe had said to the pizza delivery guy, this house is bitchin'. So we know whatever happened at that time is significant. And the significant thing that happened was that at that moment, Cecile was able to enter into the thoughts of another person. In this case, it was the surfer dude, pizza delivery guy. Now, how will the fact that she can basically become another person play into all the stuff that's happening? It could be that Devoe doesn't want the child, but rather he needs Cecile to become him, in a way to clone or to extend his mind, and possibly he wants to use his mind for something that is too dangerous for him to attempt inside of his own mind. Similar as in X-Men 1 when Magneto used Rogue, because the device he put Rogue in was too dangerous for himself, but in order to operate the device he needed to give his powers to Rogue and then she powered it. So it could be something like that. The next massive story point is of course the bombshell at the end of the episode, and that's when Cisco helps Caitlin to vibe her past, where she realizes that she has in fact been Killer Frost long before the particle accelerator explosion. So does that mean that Caitlin was born with her Killer Frost powers? And if that's the case, who was her father? We learn in this episode that he had ALS and he died, but could it be that her father also had metahuman abilities like she does, and perhaps that she inherited it from her father? We've already met her mother back in season 3 and she didn't seem to have any superhuman abilities, so it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. There were some DC references by Cisco when he compared taking on Devoe to taking on the Legion of Doom, and also referenced the Super Friends, which was a Justice League cartoon from the 70s and 80s. And how incredible was the hallway fight with Devoe and the Argus agents at the beginning of the episode? Reminiscent of the hallway fight in Daredevil season 1, only cooler. So how does Devoe know Interlac? And what is his connection to the mystery girl and the future? Why exactly does Devoe need Cecile? And why does Devoe want Barry to enter into his mind? Because I believe that's all part of the plan. That's why he wants Marlize to help Team Flash. And the fact that the episode is entitled We Are the Flash, I think is indicating that the show is going to introduce members of the Flash family. The first of which being the mystery/coffee girl, the person who I think is Dawn Allen or Jenni Ognats.
And then someone just steps out of the blue and helps out in a totally random way, am I right?
So let's discuss in the comments below. Also, I know everyone's still excited about Avengers Infinity War. Why not check out some Infinity War themed clothing by clicking on the links in the description. Please subscribe to the channel and enable notifications so that you don't miss out on any of the DC and Flash content. Thanks a lot for watching. Cheers for now.